What's up, everyone? You are tuned in to the channel Eeps, episode 146. I'm your host, EEPMON, because there is none other. I apologize again. It's been a while since I did an episode, but I figure that I do one today because, one second, I got to talk about Bitcoin. You heard me right. Today is a momentous day because for the first time ever in Bitcoin's history, it has surpassed the 100,000 USD mark. That is incredibly significant, both as a number, but also psychologically for the entire human race, essentially. This is history because breaking a six digit number is going to send incredible shockwaves in the financial markets. Wall Street, the traditional institutions, sovereign wealth funds are going to now have a much more laser focus lens into this new asset class. Academia, banks, and continued inflows from asset management companies of the world, aka BlackRock. And I tell you, I remember June 2023, like last year, when BlackRock, sort of like behind the scenes, filed an application to the SEC to get approved to essentially sell Bitcoin in a form of spot Bitcoin ETFs. And as I mentioned before, people who don't know what BlackRock is, they are like the biggest asset management company in the world, commanding and controlling $11 trillion of wealth assets. So when the big boy come in, and usually when they apply to the SEC, they get approved. If not, it's now just a matter of time. And in which case they did, not just BlackRock, but a whole slew of other asset management companies, because if the big boy come in, everyone wants to FOMO in as well. And as I predicted, that is the case. I saw it was the writing was on the wall. June 2023, I saw it. I was like, okay, it's game over. If these guys are in, you can very well expect other asset management companies coming in. And then you can also expect eventually, I saw this coming. I knew that the sovereign wealth funds are going to come in. Essentially, the bank account, the saving accounts of nation states, like the United States, which, of course, has been verbally declared, but put into action, we have yet to see until the inauguration in January next month of the incoming president, President Trump. But all the signs are there, folks. Increasingly, nation states are going to come in, and it's just a matter of time that banks will finally cave in and put Bitcoin on their balance sheets as well. And what's really interesting is that, despite the fact that it's over $100,000, in regards to the whole market capital, for example, actually, let me show you. Let me share my screen and show you something. 1 second. So if I share my screen, right here. Let's take a look. Just gonna move this smaller. Top assets by market cap, folks. Bitcoin is number 7, believe it or not. However, with just assets alone, we like Bitcoin only has 2.858 trillion, and we believe, at least the sentiment is that Bitcoin will continue to eat away the market caps of other assets. Private companies, public companies are now looking into how they can allocate some of their reserves into Bitcoin, taking the MicroStrategy playbook. If those who don't know MicroStrategy, I recommend you look it up. I'm not here to tell you what it is, but they seem to have figured it out that Bitcoin is the apex predator. Michael Saylor, of course, the guy's one of the most bullish Bitcoiners that at least I know. I don't know personally, but I've seen. Folks, we're gonna eventually, it's just a matter of time. We're gonna overtake Google, and eventually we'll take Amazon. But look at gold. Gold has 25 trillion. Well, this is in Canadian dollars wise. 25 trillion of its market cap. But I can guarantee that it's just a matter of time that we will be at parity, if not overtake the gold market cap. So, that is why there has been talk that it's just also a matter of time, and I do believe this, that at some point Bitcoin will be worth 1 million USD. 1 million. Let's see here. Now, I want to show you this. This is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, because what it shows, like, I'm no expert at this, but I'm just fascinated how all these things come together. This is a liquidation heat map. So anything in the yellow, let me see if I can zoom in here. Anything in the yellow is essentially a lot of people trying to sell Bitcoin at that 100,000 mark. They're trying to short Bitcoin at 100,000, thinking that there's no way it would ever breach that amount. They're trying to prevent it to go past that amount. As you can see, we destroyed the sell wall, and now look at it. There's no resistance. There's hardly any resistance now. Hardly. So it is, now that we broke through, and we continue to rise. I think where are we at now? Yeah, now we're at 103,000 USD. We're consolidating just a little bit around the 103 mark. Okay. However, by just looking at this heat map, there's very little resistance. I think there's some sell walls happen. I think the next sell wall might be around 105, I think. But like, we're in price discovery mode, folks. We're at all-time high, undiscovered territory, we're new price territory, and it's gonna be. But I can guarantee it's gonna go even higher, because the markets, like ETFs, they have to follow the traditional Wall Street 9 to 5, basically, of the stock market. So when it opens tomorrow, kaboom, it's going to go crazy, amplified by the 100,000 psychological marker that the financial news and media is going to like go nuts over, okay? And that's just over on the Western Hemisphere. Asia is waking up. They're seeing this thing, and they're going to go like FOMO, and it's going to be like I said, there are these multiple tailwinds that are happening, and it's creating the ultimate perfect storm. And that is why there's some people that are speculating that there's going to be things called God candles, which is like vertical, like crazy green candles that's going to even like propel the price of Bitcoin even further. Because another tailwind that I didn't talk about is that there's an imminent supply shock of Bitcoin. For those who don't know, and I'll be very brief, and I know I'm not here to educate and tell you all about Bitcoin and all that. You do your own research, you do and look it up, because that's the whole point. Um, but I will say this, and I think it's understood that everyone should know this, that Bitcoin is only ever going to be 21 million minus several million, because some of the coins have been lost forever. But in the algorithm, in the way Bitcoin is created, there can only exist ever 21 million. It is the only asset class in existence in our humanity that actually has a fixed amount. Did you say, oh, well, how about gold? How about gold? How about gold? Blah, blah. No, actually, it does not have a fixed amount, because you can mine more gold, or we improve our technology, we can probably land drones or whatnot onto asteroids or other planets to mine gold. So, what else? What other things that are abundant, that are not abundant? Well, pretty much there's nothing, right? What other, like, you could build more houses, real estate. By the way, Bitcoin will eat a lot from the real estate market cap. That's for sure. So, for those who are in the real estate, better keep your eyes peeled, because, it won't be too long until Bitcoin starts to eat away at your market cap, and perhaps it's time to diversify your portfolio. Do your own research. I'm just saying, but like, it's all the signals are there, right? And as I mentioned, there's a supply shock. So there's only ever going to be 21 million. And as I am presenting, and as I speak, and as the world continues, like people are continuing, institutions are continuing to purchase Bitcoin at an unprecedented rate, so much so that on the OTC desks, there will be none left. So people have to buy it off the market, and that's just going to jack the prices like crazy. And we're buying more than we can actually mine. This is crazy. So I'm excited because, for me, Bitcoin is not just about a financial aspect, or it's not just a financial means of like alternative savings or whatever. It's a philosophy. It's a movement. It was created as a response to the 2008 financial crisis. It was basically a big FU to the traditional markets, the traditional institutions, the dinosaurs. That has always been this way. And let's just say, like, how it was with how Netflix disrupted Blockbuster, how Airbnb disrupted the hotel industry, Uber disrupted the taxi, Apple disrupted the music industry. These are part of the technological revolutions and disruptions. And it is just a matter of time that we will have a similar technology that's going to disrupt finance and the money supply. Okay? Clearly, it is Bitcoin that is going to be that thing that's going to disrupt the markets. And of course, there's always going to be reactions, naysayers, haters. They'll fight you to get all like, no, it's a scam. Blah, blah. But it's, the funny thing is that this sort of mentality, this sort of like the psychology of human beings is so interesting. With any sort of new, doesn't even need to be like a new finance medium or whatever. It's just any sort of new thing that disrupts the way people do their day-to-day activities or something that's in their mind, that's supposedly is going to improve the productivity, the output, efficiency. Those who do not embrace change, who like to cling to the past, are usually the ones that are most like, like haters, basically. The biggest haters in the game, stubborn, ignorant, and unfortunately are left. They're left to like like dissolve, and they're left to, what's the word? Left in the dust. That's the word. Left in the dust. It's like, and I see this with the same thing with even digital art, right? So as an artist, one of the biggest frustrations was that when I created artwork and I would show them to people and they go, "Oh, this is really nice. It looks amazing. Wow, it's so great." And then they would ask me, "Well, EEPMON, is this hand drawn?" I go, "What do you mean it's hand drawn? Of course it's hand drawn. It's hand drawn with a stylus. It's hand drawn with a keyboard, with a keyboard." But when I dig deeper into what they're really asking is that, like, they see art created with traditional mediums like oils, paints, acrylics, etc. And that is how they constitute something as an original. Okay. But anything created with computers, I don't understand it. You have to copy and paste. If you copy and paste the file, you get multiple files. And then, how do I know? How do I trust? Right? Really, what they're asking is, how do I trust in what you're creating is a one of one or a series? Where's this? How do I know it's a scarcity? How do I know it's limited? How do I know that it's 21 million Bitcoin? Blah blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so what they're asking is scarcity. So Bitcoin is actually scarcity. It is 21 million, right? Now, I'm digressing a bit, but as a digital artist, when blockchain came around the corner, and when I was doing my NFTs, which is digital art, I'm a digital artist, so me, NFTs, hand in glove, perfect synergy. But I realized, wow, for the first time, this technology identifies and solves a huge underlying problem, bridging the gap between the traditional institutions and into the new age of technology. And for the first time, I felt vindicated. I can create artwork on the blockchain and declare that this piece I created will only exist because it is now publicly known on the ledger. It has provenance. And this is a huge win. And then this is the infrastructure that digital content creators need, right? Or just any, not just, well, I'll get to that later. But that solves a big issue because with it is evident, if you look around, everyone is using computers. People are creating things with computers. Naturally, in the evolution of things, of all things, that we would pivot and move towards looking at ways to monetize digital art as real assets, collectible assets. But it's a new thing, right? I get it. It's new. It's not like a Mona Lisa. It's not like a these collectible trading cards, right? Digital, right? But now these questions arise. So how do we do it? What do we need to do? What is this blockchain? And there's going to be a lot of push and pull. Always going to have these push and pull conversations. Naysayers, people who are adopting, early adopters, laggards, haters, all fighting. But eventually, always, progress always wins, folks. And here we are today in the world of blockchain technology, not only in the world of arts, only in the world of NFTs, but also in finance, which also uses blockchain. Bitcoin is on the blockchain. And that in itself identified a huge problem about the traditional finance markets, right? You could print more money. That's the big problem. It's like, how do I trust that what you create, just like in the digital art world, how can it's reversed. It's reversed. How can I trust that what you create is a one-of-one or is or a series, one out of 10,000 or a million, whatever, right? But guess what, folks? There's a bit of an issue with that in the traditional finance fiat world. It's called the money printer. We have no cap. We don't have a cap. What are you talking about? We just print more money, right? So, so Bitcoin actually solves that problem. We put a cap to things so that if you do print more money, well, as long as I have Bitcoin, I guarantee you that money is going to flow into assets like gold, like Bitcoin. That's only going to increase the value of the asset market cap. It's interesting that I'm an artist. I shouldn't really care about these things really. But ever since I got into NFTs, I started to dive a little bit deeper about our financial world order and how it is all structured. And yeah, you could tell me, you could say that I was orange pilled, but once I realized, I was like, wow, this is truly a house of cards. The traditional fiat system. This is crazy. And like I said, Bitcoin is like a philosophy. I will stop so short of it being called a religion or anything. It's a philosophy. It's a way of being. And as an artist, I really align with it because, again, as I mentioned, BTC was a big FU to the traditional markets, and I'm like a big FU to the traditional art world, right? I'm digital. Like this is my thing, and blockchain addresses the underlying problem for both digital art and Bitcoin. Who knew? Who knew? Now, another thing I want to mention, I'm going off a rant here, that, as I mentioned, I said that, well, does blockchain only caters to digital content or digital finance? No. I believe that blockchain technology is going to apply to everything in our lives. Everything. Whether you want to buy a house, buy a car, go to a concert, even buying groceries, and also buying artwork. For example, so I collect some prints from renowned artists, right? I'm not a crazy art collector, but there are a couple artists I like. So, I pay a little bit of money to invest in these art prints, which is fine. But I did not but I was, to my surprise, I would have thought that private galleries would also have a record keeping, a bookkeeping of line item by line item, the name of the title, the artist, blah blah blah, the artwork, who was the previous owner, where was the exchange of hands, just sort of tracing the lineage from its origin. I would have thought that the traditional art market would be doing their due diligence in this. In fact, they're not. They're not at all. They're not really at all. So when I bought this print, it was from I bought it was from an art gallery. They're based in LA. And then in description of their, what you get with this print is, you get the original box when it came in, and you get the certificate of authenticity that with the artwork. I was like, oh, that's great, because original. So I thought original box that comes with the artwork was great, but also, yeah, I would expect at least a certificate of authenticity. Now, when I got the print, it did not come in the authentic box. I know what the authentic box looks like. It did not come with the authentic box. Second of all, the certificate of authenticity was missing. Now the print is real. I hope. But I was like, okay, this is really strange. I would have expected these private galleries would do their due diligence and be on top of this kind of stuff, because I thought that's what traditional galleries are. Right? Analog. They're supposed to be really, meticulous with, handling with their pieces and making sure that they're everything is certified, blah blah blah. So I emailed them back. Hey, I'm missing the certificate. Like, where is it? And then they wrote back to me in email and, oh, sorry, here it is attached. Here it is attached. I was like, I looked at it. It was a freaking PDF file of the seal of authenticity, which is not even a scan of a certificate. It's like I whipped it out of like Microsoft Word or like using tables and just put a graphic logo and just like put the name down. Like anyone could have done that. I could ask ChatGPT to generate a freaking seal of certificate of authenticity. It would have. It just basically. It was just like it was bullshit. I was like, what the hell? So I was like, wow. Even private galleries in a traditional sense, in the analog world, they do not even talk to each other. Let alone even this individual gallery ain't even to get their record keeping right. I do wonder if private galleries of all over the world are even talking to each other. Probably not. Most likely not. And they're probably not. There's no standard. There's no line item to match. There's no record keeping of the exchange of like seller and buyer from and tracing back to his originator, the artist. There's nothing like that, I don't think, in the art world. If there are, there's probably maybe the very, very one like 0.5% of the elite of the galleries that do that. But mind you, right? The nature of competition, folks, nature of business, there's more than one gallery. There's many private galleries. Now the question is, do each of these galleries hold up to their expectation of what constitutes as the highest standards of quality of record keeping? Probably not. Probably not. You know why? Because we're human. Unless you are so like meticulous and like, I am perfect. And that is why we need blockchain. We need a computer. We need a database. We need this blockchain database that will but really handle the public ledger of record keeping. So let's not talk about digital art, folks. I thought that I felt vindicated, but I think that blockchain will also vindicate the traditional private galleries too that handle things analog. So, long story short, Bitcoin is one aspect of changing the way that we look at finance. It's inevitable. But I also think, and not just me, I'm sure everyone else, even BlackRock thinks, that the future of how we conduct transactions will be in the form of tokenization. Tokenization, aka therefore residing on the blockchain. The new infrastructure of the web, of the next iteration, the next cycle of the World Wide Web will be done on blockchain. This is a very exciting time. As a digital creator, a technologist, I'm very excited because this opens up a whole plethora of opportunities for creators, for businesses. And it's such a great time to be immersed in this world. Let's go. Let's do it. Anyway, I hope you like my rant. This is, I needed to talk about the Bitcoin thing because we're over 100,000 folks. And again, it's historic. A huge paradigm shift, folks. Tomorrow, I am looking forward to see what the news is going to talk about. It's going to be massive. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed what I talk about. And comments and whatnot. I appreciate you. This is the channel Eps, episode 126. And I will certainly talk to you all soon. Congratulations, all you Bitcoin hodlers. This is a milestone. Until next time, Bye bye.